Hello and welcome to MH 900% and No Strings Attached podcast. I'm Tristan, that's Mark.
Hello everyone.
Today we are going to talk about a couple of things. We're going to keep this one quite punchy, quite controversial, and possibly me and Mark are going to fight on this one, I reckon.
I think we're going to argue.
We're going
to definitely disagree.
Yeah, 100%. So, place your bets now. Who's going to win? Ain't going to be me. It might be.
Who knows?
If I can convince Mark on this topic.
What's coming up shortly?
Got a couple of big events that we're quite excited about. Lucky Larsen Masters in Helsingborg in Sweden. Starts...
Already started,
Already started, yeah.
Started last Thursday or Friday or something. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
Finishes this coming weekend.
We got quite a good representation from English players.
A few of the English guys going over. I think we got Mr. Barrett, obviously. I suppose it goes without saying.
Good old Domsey.
PBA tournament. Richie and Ray Teese are going. Mm-hmm. Daniel Harding, Ben Robinson, Mark Patrick. Elliot Crosby, although I'm not sure if he's English anymore. Is he Swedish now? That's all the English.
Everybody.
That's the ones that were on the list when I looked. You know, if there's any last minute additions, we'll see.
Gonna wish everybody good luck.
Good luck and good bowling.
Yeah.
That's what they say before leagues.
Good luck and good bowling. God, do you know what? I haven't heard a tannoy say that in a long time.
Good old days.
Yeah. I mean, Lucky Larsen is probably one of the most brilliant tournaments for any bowler to go and play in because, you know, if you're bowling sort of the later squads towards the end of the week, you could be paired up with everyone, you know. I had the pleasure last year of bowling a squad with AJ Johnson, like absolute machine. And for me, like, you know, I can roll the ball, but am I top level? No. You know, making a cut at Lucky Larsen, if I have a good day, yeah, probably. But shut up. This isn't what me and Mark are going to argue about, by the way. But we might fight about it if he carries on.
Let's crack on.
So anyway, it's a great tournament.
Great tournament. Yeah. Great for European bowling.
Yeah.
Get a PBA Tour event. It's firmly established.
So good.
You know, this side of the pond. The PBA, I believe, should be a worldwide tour. At the moment, it's 99% American based, and that's great and that's fine. Yeah, it makes it harder for others. So this event really helps the Europeans and
absolutely,
and those who are nearer Europe than they are America to come and play a little bit. So
yeah, and the one great thing about Lucky Larsen is you have access to players that you typically watch on TV.
Yeah.
You know, Jesper's there, Carl Troop's usually there, AJ Johnson, Andrew Anderson, EJ Tackett, Anthony Simonson. You know, they're all there. He was running around bowling as well. You know, like it's so nice just to be able to have a chat. You know, I remember walking up to Chris Prather and just going, "Mate, can I trouble you for a minute?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure. How are you?" And I was just like, "If you can allow me to fangirl the shit out of you for the next 5 minutes, then I can probably just have a normal conversation with you afterwards." And he was just like, "Oh man, I'm just a normal dude." And I was like, "Oh, don't be Chris Prather." Like,
but that's part of this attraction for the European bowlers.
100%. Yeah.
We get access to those players. We see them, up close and personal.
Yeah.
If you want to be there, and let's hope it's a great event. Let's hope
always is.
Maybe a European can win it. Let's be pro-European. And
absolutely, yeah.
So in this list, this is a bit tongue-in-cheek, I suppose, but when you look at the PBA lists normally, anyone who's not American has a little I in italics, don't they, for international. Yeah. Are we going to reverse that at Lucky Larsen as it's based in Sweden?
There you
We're going to put an I for against Andrew Anderson and AJ Johnson, etc., because they're the internationals this time.
Maybe we could put that in Daniel's suggestion box. Daniel, if you're watching.
Well, small things.
Yeah.
Obviously for that.
Yeah, indeed.
So, Lucky Larsen, let's look forward to a great tournament. see what the high scoring will be or not. I haven't looked at the
Yeah.
pattern yet. Have you looked at the
No,
pattern?
it's only been, the length has only been
I
announced.
haven't announced it. As we film, we don't know.
As we film, but as we're pretending that the event's already started, it's yeah, like the pattern has been announced. We haven't seen it, but yeah.
Last year was,
I think it's 42 plus or minus.
wasn't it? Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Last year was
High volume last year.
Yeah.
30 something, 33.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Martin has quite a lot of to do with the pattern design, working with Christianos. So I would imagine they've got multiple versions of that pattern that they've been testing over the last week or so. So yeah, it's always such a slick event. I can't remember a single lane breakdown. Patrick runs Olympia Bowl. It's phenomenal place. It's so good. Mezzanine to be able to watch, and chill out. The food's great. Beer's great. People are great. It's honestly, it's definitely worth it. Take some bowling balls, go over.
Have you been paid for this advert?
I haven't, no, but I'm just saying it's one of my favourite tournaments. It's one of the only tournaments I actually bowl.
Yeah, one day I'll get there.
Yeah, I'm devastated to not be playing this year, but
yeah, well,
just for shits and giggles.
Never mind. So yeah, we got the Lucky Larsen coming up.
Yeah. Oh, what do you think the cut's going to be?
Oh, blimey. 6-game cut.
So plus what?
What was it last year? Do you know?
I think it was something stupid, like 160. Was it 160?
Looking to the audience for help.
Yeah.
160. It was 160.
Plus 160. But the leader
Reliably
was like
informed.
plus 340 or something, wasn't it? Yeah.
Right. Huge. Okay, so
Our Oracle.
160 for how many make it?
Oh God.
48?
Top 32.
48? 32. 32. Okay. 32 people will get. I'm going to go for, without knowing what the pattern looks like, or
It's just a random
1403. I'm going to go for that.
203. All right, I'm going to go 174. Plus 174.
Getting a few looks from the crowd. Maybe gone a bit high.
1374, I think.
1374.
Yeah, 1374 makes the cut. After chatting about Lucky Larsen for a bit, let's bring it closer to home.
Yeah.
Inter-counties is coming up.
Yeah. Adult inter-county qualifying weekend. Yeah, always the first week of September. So everyone always knows what they're doing if they're a county bowler. This year, 3 qualifying groups for the men, I believe, and just 2 for the women. Just north and south rather than north, south and central for the men.
Yeah.
10 teams are making the finals, unless that's changed, but that's what it's been the last 2 or 3 years, I believe.
Yeah. Good luck to all the county bowlers.
Yeah, good luck to everyone.
Yeah.
Yorkshire, the reigning champion, so they still bowl the qualifier, but they don't have to qualify. The defending champions get an automatic place in the finals, which is the first weekend of November, which it always is, and I believe it's at Romford this year.
Is it?
Yeah. So
Brunswick machine.
a little different from...
On some pretty high friction surfaces.
Yeah, county bowling, it's good. Let's see what happens. Let's see who comes through.
Nice.
Good luck to everyone.
And now,
Come on, Hampshire.
so should we go on to the juicy topic?
Let's move into the topic that you wanted to talk about.
Do we need the boxing gloves?
Yeah, do we? The podcast is called No Strings Attached, so
Inevitable.
we thought, at some point we thought we'd just get it out of the way. Let's just talk about strings,
Yeah.
pins on strings or wires.
So
Technically,
those of you that know Mark know that he has quite strong opinions on this, and I think the phrase "strings are shit" is probably
that's a bit harsh.
I
don't think they're that good.
Well, would you like to finish the sentence?
Well,
Strings are.
different.
Oh yeah.
It's all about the difference. It's not so much strings that I'm bothered by per se. It's the way we treat, or generally speaking, they're treated the same as free fall, and they most definitely aren't. And as has been proven, or what's the word? Well, the fact that there are string machines that can be set up under USB-C specifications so that they are more like or very similar to free fall machines tells you enough, I think, to say they are different. And so I don't have an issue from a business putting string machines in their centres from a cost, from a operational cost perspective, ongoing cost. I'm sure, if they believe they're going to save them hundreds of thousands of pounds over the years, then fine. It makes absolute sense. If that's genuinely what happens, perfect, fine. However, from a sport perspective, they're different.
Yeah, absolutely.
However, if you hit the pocket at the right place, at the right angle, it doesn't matter. They all fall over, whether they're free fall or strings. The issues arise when you are, you're off centre, or you're off target, you're light in the pocket, or the ball's not rolling, it's still hooking, and so then you start to see the bigger differences, and you see with sparing, you see lots of very, very different falls of pins, which is the wire taking the other pin out, either by its own wire or the pin itself, and that is different.
I think research into string length needs to happen in terms of
it's happened.
Emulates.
It's happened in some sense. USB-C have done some study and decided that if there are some machines that you can set up in their eyes to be as close, if not, in their eyes, the same as.
Yeah.
But they still have something attached.
Yeah, in like my local centre at Strikes Theorem, they have the Funk system, the V2 Funk system, and that is really quite good out of all of the string systems that I've actually played on, like Airport, for example. Oh my god, it was horrific. I don't like it at all. But we can still get messengers with the Funk 2 system because the string length's set up nicely. Every pin is on the spot. I think practicing on strings actually makes you a better bowler because you have to be more accurate. You have to control the entry angle into the pocket in order to carry.
Okay.
But you get punished for going into the pocket slightly light. It doesn't necessarily mix up the same. And what you would get away with on freefall, by being, hitting the pocket kind of light, you don't get on strings. That is why I think it makes you a better player. The kids at YBC are practicing on strings. They go to a freefall tournament and they get more carry.
Okay.
Because they have to control their entry angle into the pocket, and that's what they practice.
Okay. It's a strong argument. My attitude about the skill of bowling is that the better players should be the ones that are better technically and effectively put in, create more energy or transfer more energy, create more energy into the ball, and therefore into the pins. And if your skill of creating lots of energy on the ball transfers into pin luck or carry because of the energy you've transferred, and it flies around and you get lucky, then that's fine. And that's part of our game. We can never ever, be 100% accurate every single time. And ultimately,
even the pin setters can't put a pin in the place 100% of the time. In the same spot.
Not all of them. Some of them, the ones that are well looked after, certainly can. I believe, I'm told that Ashby Centre in Scunthorpe, in their recent lane certification process, lost 1 point on the pin setting, which means one pin, was more than, in the whole centre, was more than 1/8 out in any direction. That's when you lose a point. When one pin is more than 8,000. Now that doesn't mean that they were all perfectly on spot. They were less than an eighth tolerance, which is 0 points lost on the system we use in England. So when machines are maintained by very good technicians, there's no argument to say that they're off spot all the time, because that's not the case.
So why do you think we are seeing more and more centres obviously transitioning to installing string pin machines rather than repairing the freefall machines they previously had? Is this because we are losing skilled technicians to other areas?
It's one reason. Yeah. My judgment is twofold, I think. One is that in England, predominantly, but probably around the world as well, primarily most centres are there just to make money. Primarily, number one, it's about making as much money as possible.
I've actually seen a lot of centres in America starting to make the switch as well.
And they have big companies, big chains where they're just it's all about the bottom line. I'm not saying money's not important. Clearly, if you're running a business, it's about making money. Absolutely. However, it depends. You can make money and survive and make a very good living and high profit levels, and still, stay true to the sport. And support the original game. The free fall pin. There's nothing better than hearing free fall pins, brand new free fall pins, I believe, being smashed by a really decent shot. Pins are a slightly different sound. It is just slightly different. Yeah. But I think the reason why we're seeing so many is because the company selling a lot of them have done a very, very good sales job on our bigger chains. And if you are purely only in it for the money, if you've got a share price to protect, then you're going to look at your operational costs. You're going to look at your capital expenditure and make decisions based upon, what is our, what's the way we can make the biggest return in the shortest period of time. Yeah. And so we're seeing our big companies, mentioning not their names, but people will know who they are. And I don't blame them. They're just putting in what they believe to be the best choices to make the most amount of money as quickly as they can, because that's what their business model is. Whether the sport and the league bowler and the competition bowler and the county bowler is part of their custom, in the main, they're not that fussed. No. I'm not saying they don't have leagues, and they do have leagues, of course they do. They have leagues when it suits them more than when it suits us, but primarily the sport, the game of bowling, the competitive side of bowling, particularly in this country, is quite low on the list of those companies that have string pins. The ones that are supporting freefall are generally independent centres and are there primarily, or in many ways, much more for the game as we know it.
Yeah. I mean, I miss the noise bowling in a string centre. Yeah, just hearing the machines at the back. When you get the opportunity to go down to the back of the lanes and actually have a look at the machines, they do look like something out of the 1960s. I'm trying to think of the era, like the industrial era of, like this country. It's oily, it's greasy, it's like chains and cogs and all this stuff, and it just looks old and stuff. Like the installation of a new string system is really, really clean.
Yeah, I get it.
It's super nice and nice environment. It looks kind of cool. It just depends on string.
What I'm curious to know is, so there's maybe one particular company who've promoted and invested in the development and the installation of strings. I mean, there's several, but there's one that sort of stands out. I'm curious to know why, or whether they actually did. Why didn't they invest their time into perhaps being able to come up with a freefall machine that is a lot cleaner and works a lot better, and is more ecologically,
maybe even some
friendly.
automation for general, like, you know, pin setting systems. Because,
Yeah,
you know,
there
I
must
believe
be some way of making a free fall system that is, safer.
safer and efficient.
Okay, we understand the safety aspect is important. However, there's got to be, technology is the best it's ever been. So, has anyone looked into, can we make a free fall machine better than it sort of traditionally is? And if genuinely, there's been the research and they've proven that, well, no, actually, just we can't come up with that solution, then okay, well, fair enough. But have they actually done that? Has anyone actually done that? No. There just seems to be it seems to be that somebody made a decision that actually we can make these machines really, really cheap and we can sell them really, really high, and we're going to promote them as ecologically friendly, very, very safe, low maintenance costs. So we're going to push that to the biggest companies in bowling, and we're going to make a killing. And who's to blame that business for that? However, it's being sold as this is the future, this is the answer.
Yeah.
Have we explored all the answers? And you ask most people, well, is it the same? No. And everyone, I think, agrees, but
I agree with you, it's different.
I saw someone spare the 367 the other week, and they clipped the 6-pin on the right-hand side. I can't imagine I've ever seen that with a free-fall setup.
Yeah.
I've seen a bucket spared where they clipped the 5-pin edge on the right. And it wasn't because the pins connected, it was because the string connected.
So
wire.
I think here's my issue with string pins, right?
I know there's other luck involved with free fall.
This is my issue with string pins, okay? Is that if you're playing a competitive event, for example, on string pins, or a tournament or a league or something, whatever the scoreboard says goes. So even if it was 10 pins standing clear as day, but maybe it was just wobbling slightly, it will count it as fallen, and then you'll get a strike, right? So quite frequently, players are scoring more because the system has said, yeah, that was a strike, and we're like, no, it was a 10-pin, respot the 10-pin. Well, you can't do that on certain systems, on a lot of systems, in fact.
So there's a rule that either hasn't been invented yet, or contradicts the existing rule, which I understand to be, as soon as you see the table, that's it. No more pinfall allowed, so to speak.
Yeah.
If there's no table coming down, there's no time frame.
Well, yeah, because if it's counted as a strike, it's gone. I'll pull the pin up. Job's a good one. Yeah.
So if you have Brunswick's some Brunswick machines and AMF machines, everyone knows that they can operate at quite different speeds. Half a second difference. On some machines, you think, well, actually, that might have gone if it had been the other machine, because actually it was just about a fall. But no, the machine's come down, it's ended up knocking it over or picking it up, whichever way. Yeah. So there's differences already. But the standard is when the machine comes down, when the pin setter is in view, that's it. And if we don't have any time frame, what is it that the string machine does?
Yeah.
And do they all do it consistently? That will mean that at that moment, no more pinfall. We don't have a rule. I'm not aware of one.
No, it's
you aware of it?
No, I'm not. It's kind of well, if the score system says it, that's what we'll take.
So we're playing now with effectively different rules.
Yeah.
So we have to indicate high scores, surely, S or F.
Yeah.
String or free fall, 300S, 300F. Then everyone's aware, okay, that was done on a string setter, that's done in a free fall.
Well,
and they can make their own judgment on whether one's more worthy or not, or whether they're equal.
We had that at Triple Crown in Scotland.
In Scotland, Deer Park.
When the boys absolutely annihilated the
the UK falls team game. They bowled 1,060.
Yeah.
When the record at the time was 1,044.
Yeah.
Or 45, whatever it was, 45.
Yeah. And so it was a national record.
But it wasn't actually recognised.
But it wasn't recognised.
and it shouldn't have been recognised. It should be recognised as a string record and not a free fall or everyone record.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is why it was reported widely last month or the month before adult nationals when one team did break the record on the on free fall machine at Altrincham, where they had 1,046. That's now recognised as the UK record. So, you know, either I don't know. We have to, if we just indicate which is which, and everyone is appreciative that that's done on strings, that's done on free fall.
Yeah.
Then you can make your own decisions about it. You can make then there's no real. You don't end up with debate. You don't end up with people going, well, you know, like me, perhaps, who, you know, and even one or two of the guys who are in that team, they don't see it as the UK record. They themselves agree that it's not the record because they know what happened.
Yeah, and I mean, like a lot of the strikes that they got in that game were due to the 10, you know, the 6-pin wrapping around the 10 and
the
then
strings taking out the pins.
You know, so here's the thing, right? For practice, if it was a case of not having access to free-fall machines locally and, you know, the bowl is supportive and quite happy to dress the lanes and go and get a couple of hours practice on the strings, I think it's hugely beneficial for you as a player. And I genuinely believe that. I do believe it makes you a better, more accurate bowler. And when we're looking to achieve repeatability to a finite degree of error, string pins, and it really does enable you to dial in your accuracy and being able to repeat. Because you have to, if you want to carry, So I think it's a good thing. I think if you practice on it and bowl in leagues, you know, that are, you know, mildly competitive, more entertaining than anything else, I think it has a place. For competitive bowling, I'm still somewhat on the fence. If I was ever in a position to be in a title game in the final and I struck out with 3 great shots at the end, total flush, all 10 in the pit, right? And then I lose to a wrap 10-pin, string pin wrap, or, you know, a split conversion or something, you know, of that nature that was directly attributed to a string, it would be the worst feeling ever. And I think it would also be the worst feeling ever if you won in that environment. Yeah. And won with that.
Yeah,
that scenario.
Unless that's all you've ever known, but
yeah, of course.
Because that may be where we sort of end up in 10 years' time, or something. That we only have strings really, and that would be horrible. But you know, I think like we've talked about in previous episodes about testing of softness and things like that. I think we need to do some proper testing. There's been some testing. And I stand corrected if I'm wrong, but I believe it was done with either professionals or very high standard of players, and I would say that floors the data, as in, you know, it would suggest that there's not a lot of difference, because if you use the best players, they are going to hit the pocket at the right angle far more often.
Yeah, exactly.
And so the differences are going to be much smaller, if at all. Yeah. There needs to be a wide scale assessment of, you know, different levels of players, I would suggest. Perhaps even you're sticking holes in a pin to put a wire through it. Does that not change the centre of gravity or the way it falls in itself?
Yeah, the general dynamics.
I'm happy to be corrected on that, but
quite possibly. I'd imagine
not the same object, is it?
Yeah, I'd imagine it's a similar thing. But you know, when we're looking at the size and the weight of the pin, having a little bit less top weight, maybe, like, is that going to change how the pin?
I mean, you can have different weight pins anyway, 3.6 to 3.10 in weight, I suppose. However, you know, the mass doesn't. I believe even if it was a different mass, it wouldn't change centre of gravity, but. You know, these are the things we don't really know. It's not common knowledge to know all of these things. You know, we trust the people who make these things. We trust the USB-C. We trust the people who are putting all the specifications together to do the right thing. And you know, hopefully they will, and hopefully they do. We just don't know though for sure what really is going on.
Yeah, like when strings first started appearing, I was so anti them. Yeah, and I was like, oh, this is rubbish. But since using them and really having no other choice, from a business perspective, I get it. And if it means having, a great quality lane surface like we do at Durham, for example, with the Pro Amber lane, that is just phenomenal. It's probably one of my favourite bowling surfaces to roll on. And I'm really happy whenever I go to centre and I'm like, Pro Amber lane, nice. It feels like home, yeah. Other than the odd tangle when you do get the pins flying around everywhere and it takes maybe a couple of attempts for it to sort out, it's all right. I would rather bowl there because it's got the right lane surface than I would perhaps at, say, Namco Bowthorpe, which is wood but really good freeform machines.
Yeah. I mean, that is, if that's the compromise, lower league level, social level, even sort of local tournament level, no bad thing. I just think it's, at the highest level, the more the more strings gets nearer to the PBA tour.
Yeah.
And if it ever becomes a regular thing, and if it's if we bowl World Championships or European Championships on string pins, I think either we've lost all the free fall centres, or in my opinion, it's be a very, very sad day for bowling.
I genuinely think we're not actually that far away from that being reality in time.
Well, maybe we're not, and I'll repeat it. It'll be a very sad day.
It will be. Like when we were at Bowling Vision with Alex, they're making better parts for freefall machines that are still going to keep them running. Yeah. But at some point, they're going to turn around as a business and go, it's not commercially viable to continue making these products and developing these parts.
Well, yeah.
When at that point, with say solar power, for example, you stick solar on the roof of a bowling centre and then install string pins. Not only can your general staff, maybe log into an app or go and untangle something, or I remember like bowling at Guyherne when they just had their edge string pins installed, and it's an older version of Cubica Edge. It was the non-USB-C.
Well, there's no USB-C string machines in this country.
Durham Funk 2 USB-C approved.
Do not believe that's the case.
There's no Cubica Edge USB-C string pin centres. Right. There are Cubica Edge, but they're not installed USB-C before the USB-C approval. So
and not being adapted.
But and I'm not 100% sure on this, but I'm pretty confident that with the Cubica Edge system, you can log into an app and reset or respot all of the pins, and sort of dial those in using an app, and it will take less than 10 minutes to do a whole centre. Whereas if you're looking at a 10-lane centre with freefall, that's a day, 2 days work.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I mean, you'd imagine though, wouldn't you, if there's all of these centres that some of them not that old that are taking out freefall machines and putting in strings, that there'd be a hell of a lot of good parts around the place.
Yeah, you'd think so.
You'd think so, but it seems to be that there isn't.
Where are they going?
I don't know. Maybe they're just being thrown away. I mean,
that's sad, isn't it?
It wouldn't be. It's not a nice thing to think that perhaps then they're not finding their way onto the second-hand market and the spares market. For don't know what's happening there. But there must be. All of these centres have changed. There must be, or you would expect there to be, hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of lanes and parts and things that, much of which would be pretty good and would help the freefall centres to exist.
Yeah. Out of interest, do you know what I'd really like to know? Because the Malta Open's always been a really popular tournament, right? And the Eden Bowl in Malta has recently gone strings.
Yeah, they rebuilt the whole place.
Rebuilt the whole thing, total refurbishment, installed string pins. I wonder whether that affected entries for this year.
I'm led to believe it did.
In quite a
From people
significant
who
way?
might have gone before.
Quite a significant way?
I think it was quite significant.
Interesting.
There may not be direct correlation. It may just be that there wasn't a tournament for, was it 1 or even 2 years?
I think it was only 1.
So
maybe 2.
Maybe just people, you just get out of the habit of things and found something else to do. But actually, maybe it was absolutely that reason.
Yeah. So, are string pins good for bowling? Good for retail bowling, terrible for sport. I think that's a fair assessment.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
And we agree with that, right?
Necessary for the retail leisure aspect.
Yeah.
Unnecessary for the sport.
Yeah, and I don't like saying this here, but we don't have a choice. We are a very, very small part of a bowling centre's revenue. As sport players who take it seriously, who turn up to practice, who want to compete and all of that jazz, we're a small sector, but arguably the most important for the sport.
Yeah, and this is where, I've sort of said this before to people about, we've got, I don't know how many centres we have now, 150, maybe 200, I don't know about that in this country. And, there's lots of people have moaned about, well, we haven't got very many good centres. Well, we don't need 150 good centres. We probably need 10 to 20. Right? We're a small nation, and if they're fairly well geographically placed, we probably only need 10 to 15 to maybe 20 centres to keep the sport pretty healthy, the league and tournament scene in our country pretty healthy. And right now, most of those important centres are free fall. Yeah. And we have to do everything as bowlers, everything as coaches, as fans of bowling. We need to do everything to support the independent places that are still, doing everything they can to do things in what I believe to be the right way for the sport. And
I mean, just in Norfolk alone, out of the 4 bowling alleys we have here, 75% of them are strings.
Yeah. So that it doesn't. It's not so much that there's so many string centres. It's more a case of we've got to look at the ones that are still free fall. Yeah. Still happy to do that. Still supporting. At risk of missing some out.
This is the thing about
you could name the ones that are really supportive of the sport are the ones we always go to. Yeah. Stroud, Romford, Mansfield, Chesterfield, Altrincham, Shipley, Ashby, Scunthorpe as well. Ashby and Scunthorpe, Bromber, Dunstable. Told you I might miss a few, but those are the core. Those are the ones that are supporting the sport. Majority of the time, that's where we spend most of our times playing our competitions, and we need to do everything we can to help, because most of those places are independently owned. In fact, none of them are owned by the big chains. No. Either of the big 2 chains we have. So, it's up to us. If we want to, keep free fall, breathing and whatever, we need to do everything we can to support them. Rather than moan all the time, as a lot happens, or we moan about this, we moan about that. Things go wrong, and that's fine. You can have a complaint, and we're still customers.
I think we've already established that there's always going to be something to moan about in bowling.
Well, always. However, we need to realise, in some ways, maybe these places and the people who own them are actually doing the best thing for bowling in our country, and we need to recognise that, even if maybe standards slip in the centre here or there, and that may be the case. Ultimately, they still have free fall, so let's hopefully find a way of supporting them and making sure that they do their bit, rather than just saying, well, actually, forget it, we're done. Right, let's put some strings in. Right, save some money on staff and blah 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 whatever, and then we've lost another one.
Well, this is the thing. Like, if the worst happens, and,
Barnsley, forgot them.
Yeah, Chesterfield.
I mentioned Chesterfield.
You did.
Yeah.
If string pins become the only option in the future, in say 5, 10, 15 years time, will I stop bowling because of it? And the answer to that is no, because I love the sport, and I think anybody that does will continue to play the sport because they realise that actually hitting the pins is actually a really small part, just a small section of the game. When I'm practicing specifically at the moment, because there are specific things that I'm working on, anything that happens past the foul line I really couldn't give a toss about.
Yeah.
Because I'm just practicing.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. If we get to a place where, say, over the course of 2 or 3 years, every single European championship is on a string, is on strings, and it's clear that they're not going to go back to free fall. And if if the same thing happens at World Championships, 2 or 3 in a row are on strings, and they're not looking to go back into free fall, I will be done as a coach. I will be done with the game.
Wow.
Yeah. And I've now said this absolutely publicly.
Holy shit, you're retiring in 10 years.
Maybe I am.
I'm not ready for that.
Maybe I am.
I don't think you are.
But if there's still free
I
fall
don't believe you. I don't believe you.
We'll see then. I don't want to find out.
Nah.
I think we're further away from that. I'm not saying just the one-off. I mean, one-off would annoy me and I wouldn't want to go. Okay?
Can I just need a moment. I need a moment. This is a tiny violin.
Play a little violin.
This is a tiny violin moment if I've ever had
one. I don't think it is.
No, I don't want Mark to quit coaching.
Well, I might do.
No.
If the governing bodies quit freefall, I'll quit coaching. There you go.
I don't want to put this podcast out anymore. This isn't okay. Did you know about this, camera lady number 1? Has he said this before?
Yeah.
You've changed, man. Not happy with this.
No, it's not me that's changed. It's the game. It's the pin setters that changed. I don't want to see who's the best at knocking over string pins that without rules and regulations and specs that otherwise. I don't want to be that part of that. But until that, I bloody love this game and I want to keep going. I want to be part of it, and I want free fall pins to be the standard.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'd like them to be.
And if the World Championships wants to maintain the standard, we need to be on free fall. That's my opinion. We're all entitled to opinion.
Wow.
And if you disagree, that's fine as well. That's my position.
It's quite a bold position.
I'm also 56 years old. I'm nearer to retirement than I am, birth. So...
yeah, factually accurate.
What it means is I'm very much into the game. I've enjoyed the game for 45 years or whatever it is, more than that. Yeah. And for me, that's what it means. That's why I fell in love with the game. I fell in love with the game because when I went into my bowling centre, the sound of the ball hitting the pins and the smell of the bloody smoke, because it was back in those days, and the wooden lanes and the lacquer and all of that. But it's always been the sound.
Yeah.
Put new pins in 2 years after you've had pins in for 2 years, and suddenly it's
See, the thing is, right?
Is it the same sound with a string pin?
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not. We've already established, and I think we both agree the fact that it's different, right? But I'm a little bit younger than you, not much, but as long as there is somebody out there who wants to learn how to be better at the sport of bowling, I will be available to coach.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
Like, regardless of what the pins are.
They'll be lucky. But under those conditions, as I stated, that would be it.
And I respect you. I respect your stance. Was I ready to hear that on a pod? No. Is it going to take a while for me to process that and go, okay, we've got a time limit then? That sucks.
We don't know what the time limit is, though.
No, we don't, but I don't think it's long.
Well, I've said three, 3 world championships that look like, which suggest that we're never going back to free fall, would be at least 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah, but I still think it's
probably longer.
5 to 10. But
so we're talking a long way in advance.
I've still got a lot to learn from you, and I've only got 5 to 10 years to do it.
Yep. I might even retire in 10 years. Regardless.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows? There you go.
On that bombshell.
I need a minute. So, tell us your comments on strings. Yeah? Are you the same as Mark? And, are quite prepared that if strings is the only way that we can play bowling, you're not going to bowl or coach or support bowling in that, that facade, I guess. Or are you more me, I love bowling, I'll do it on whatever? Because ultimately that's what it comes down to, is the fact that actually I love the sport that much that as long as I'm rolling a ball and I'm taking care of myself, because I see bowling as a form of self-care, it's a couple of hours with me on a lane, being able to just bowl and do, and that's me. And I don't mind whether it's got a string.
I don't play, remember.
You don't?
I don't play anymore. So I'm not seeing it from a player perspective. I'm seeing it from a coach perspective. And for me, if those pins disappear from the world of bowling, I will too. Not that many people bother about that. Some people say, hurry up. But
I wonder how many of those centres you shouted out are going to install strings now just to get rid of you.
Fine. Whatever.
So, this is the No Strings Attached podcast. I need to call my counsellor and maybe process this shocking.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks. Bye. I'm Mark. No, I'm not. I'm Tristan. That's Mark. I can't even talk now. This has rattled me.
It's thrown you.
This has rattled me.
I thought I told you that.
No, I didn't think you'd bloody get up and just off.
Yeah. Under those circumstances, I'll be gone.
Wow. There's a few more EJs. Well, please subscribe. I'm going to be looking for a new co-host in
10
the
years'
next
time.
few years. So please send your applications to mh900bowling@gmail.com.
No strings attached.
Yeah.
I love strings. Yeah.
I just love bowling.